Madam Speaker, I rise to demand justice for a family still in search of answers. Over 3 years after his murder, Army Specialist Enrique Roman-Martinez's mother, Maria, and sister Griselda still don't know what happened to their beloved son and brother. Before he was even old enough to vote, Enrique felt called to serve for a purpose much greater than himself. His dedication to our nation compelled him to enlist in the Army when he was only 17 years old. While stationed at Fort Bragg in North Carolina, Specialist Roman-Martinez went camping in the Outer Banks with 7 of his fellow soldiers. On May 22, 2020, he disappeared. 7 soldiers camping with him failed to report him missing. They failed to provide information that could lead to solving his murder. Instead, they claimed that he was suicidal. However, a week later, when his head surfaced, Specialist Roman-Martinez was found washed ashore. Only his head. He was only 21 years old enough to order a beer for himself. He had the rest of his life ahead of him, a life he chose to begin by selfless serving his country. His family deserves the truth, and as the mother of an Air Force veteran, I will never forget that awful feeling of waking up every day and not knowing whether your son will ever come home. Our military makes a sacred commitment to never leave a service member behind, and it is their moral obligation to inform families if their loved one is killed. It is an impossible, unthinkable conversation, a conversation that I feared every single day during my son's deployment, but it is essential closure for the families of those who made the ultimate sacrifice. It has been over 3 years, and the murder of Enrique Roman-Martinez remains unsolved. The Army's failure to provide his family with the answers they deserve is unacceptable. Last year, I introduced the Enrique Roman-Martinez Military Cold Case Justice Act to reform how the military handles cold cases and ensure that a tragedy of uncertainty like this never happens again. And I am pleased that my legislation was included in our annual government's funding law that I recently had the opportunity to visit the new Army Cold Case Unit to monitor the Army's improvements to their cold case review process. But the harsh truth remains. Enrique's family is still waiting for answers they may never find, and still waiting for the remains they may never find. I call on anyone with information on Enrique Roman-Martinez's murder to come forward and shed the light on what happened. And as the Roman-Martinez family's voice in Congress, I will continue doing all that I can to deliver justice for them. Enrique was one of the Inland Empire's best and brightest, and we feel the pain for his loss every single day. Maria and Griselda's lives will never be the same after the murder of their son and brother, and the very least that we can do is grant them closure. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I yield back.